So US stock bulls bet the trifecta effect. No crisis, no hikes, and safety in size. But that everything at the expense of inflation. So I would say that even though the crisis might be not as bad as the CNBC Jim Cramer says, as everything won't maybe turn down and turn over, but definitely we don't have such abilities to expand in the economy as the largest country of the East. I mean, China, that's right now is in the meanwhile of possible another fiscal drip to the economy with recent expensive moves from the government. So what about the economy of China relating to the US one? That's one of the topic we'll cover today. And about unregulated market, we'll just roll over the knowledge about the Arbitrum airdrop. As we do know, that's the one of the most debated topic among crypto right now. So we'll just have an insight in such of the data as that one. So I'm very glad you decided to pop in. Let me know if everything works fine, whether the microphone is rolling, and if so, we may start our transmission. As you do know, economy view is the first one block to roll in this episode. So what about its expansion? China, look at this unbelievable chart. Beijing accelerates debt building, and China central government's net bond financing biggest on record. Mainly in 2023, there was 300 billion yuan injected in the system, and that may prompt the global factory that's what's called China, to expand in 2023. As of 2020, China's total government debt stands at approximately equivalent of 45% of Chinese GDP. So that might be one of the ball and chain for the government, as right now, due to its centralized power, this GDP, this type of debt is outstanding relating to GDP, but on the longer time horizon, it may eventually not be as bad as the West's inflation that's right now really off the mark. So we need to take notice on that China is definitely not the one of this pure country that right now not have any head scratcher regarding its interior problems, but I would say that won't be as troublesome for the government of Xi Jinping than was in the West one, especially in Europe. In terms of the corporate sector in China, that's accounted for a large proportion of total debt, at more than 160% of GDP. So that are elements that also may be troublesome in some terms. Anyway, the government, at least for now, is trying to seek for an opportunity of expand, and after this 2022 turmoil, the next couple of months might be under the mark of robust growth. So in US, the nation is reversing, especially when looking at loans. So credit impulse right now is something that may be a conundrum for many of analysts, and total credit to private non-financial sector is at almost 3 years lows. So this factor is very important to ensure a sustained flow of credit to the real economy. So if we go through any of banking stress, that definitely might be disinflationary, and that's what the Fed assessing to may resurface in, I would say, in this or next year, as otherwise I would say this inflation might be kind of a very with a bit of a worry treated by economists, and without breaking something that will be very difficult to go down on that very important gauges. So for now, maybe we won't see a systemic liquidity crisis, but that may be put off for some time later in time. So that's also why interest rates are entailing the type of many market funds enthusiasts, and that is why, due to this potential disruption of U.S. banking, the third instances and middlemen are gaining on that whole chaotic environment. So money market funds has risen in significance during recent 2 or 3 weeks, and this tendency doesn't seem to stop any time soon. All right, and right now the US is in some of the trouble caused by this faulty banking system, whereas the Chinese one doesn't look like as cracky as the West's are. So that's about first block. Right now, let's head on to market outlook and let's find out what's with most important index right now, SPX. What's with it? So on SPX, we have respected purely that congestion zone that's right now. This rebound rally is thriving, and we don't have any type of significant turnover yet. However, if we treat this candle as the one of a pivotal for this leg upwards, that might lead us to another bound lower at 38.3. But within the previous 2 market sessions, we didn't have any type of negative tendency that may reappear, that may get us lower. But if we just try to draw that line, that might be somewhat of a just forming pattern of inverted head and shoulders, that may reappear some possibilities of a reversal toward an further upside trajectory. Right now, in terms of high, lower strategy, we do find that this recent high wasn't treated as the one on the forward interval that may reappear as the one of the reversal. We haven't marked this one as the very strong negation, and we do need still confirmation for this to behave it as a higher, lower high. However, on a weekly chart, we are still on a growing tendency, and that may persist for longer. So that's about SPX. However, in terms of, or maybe you want to get back to this a bit later, as I have a very important correlation for you. Right now, let's get to crypto outlook and Arbitrum token that we've been talking about lately. Is the one of the topics that right now is really permeating through many different Twitter lists, and that's because its airdrop was really qualitative. So Arbitrum with a ARB ticker has been listed on many exchanges, from the Asian one to the West's, and it caused a rise in token of even up to tenfold on some exchanges due to low liquidity, but we'll get to this back later. We have right now some of the details regarding that airdrop. It was purely governance token with fees on Ethereum, no revenue to the holders. So for those that are holders of a token, I would reconsider this twice, as we don't have a much bigger incentives to shareholders. I would rather find that it may cause the redistribution on exchange further the way. And with fees in Ethereum, it means that those fees doesn't really affect the price of Arbitrum token, and that may also won't be also the kind of a demand suppressor for the price. Also, what I mean that the only one thing that may prompt the Arbitrum shareholders to hold its tokens is the voting rights. So so that's why we may find that that might be not very much, as Uniswap has gone through the similar trajectory back on 2020, and it was too little to keep its shareholders buy its token. So right now, the Arbitrum is the one of the governance tokens. It's not used, and there are no plans to use it to pay for fees or on Arbitrum. Hence, holding this one might be compared exactly to owning shares in a company. So if you are just if it's just enough for you in order to hold on to it, it might be fine, but for the majority of the community, that might be too little, as I meant. And right now, the only potential revenue is the token value accrual. So this is also the table that finds out the initial token allocation and airdrop distribution. Right here, you can find that 42.78% is allocated to Arbitrum DAO Treasury, whereas around 12.75% is dedicated to users and DAOs building apps on Arbitrum. So it's pretty clear that Arbitrum isn't a scam, as not no of the funders has incentivized itself on that event. I would say rather it's just a saying thanks to the ones that who are believing that distribution may eventually happen, and the one that may incentivize the users. So Arbitrum distribution right now you may find right here with the claimed token on purple, on navy blue you will find left to claim, and average allocation is right now 1,859 with current prices it's around 2,400. So it may spark another wave of interest in those airdrops dedicated to users of many blockchains. And the possible next one might be this ZK sync that many of I would say users of this platform is praying for the turn of event. So for now, all one needed to do for this airdrop to be eligible was sending some funds to Arbitrum and making few transactions. So it wasn't that much, if you ask me. So for the time being, the airdrop era is once again here, and we may have a track for the next quality projects out there. So that's out of the distribution data. Let's have a look at Arbitrum total value locked, and after the airdrop it has risen, but right now it may possibly stay on with this course, and maybe to top up right after this airdrop being distributed. So that's the data of the DeFi Llama, and many people thought Arbitrum TVL would fall off a cliff after the airdrop, but rather surprisingly it keeps on rising still. For how long, you may ask? Nobody knows, but in my view it's still pretty decent finding that those shareholders are believing for the future growing value of a ecosystem. And just let's have a look at Arbitrum listing price action. It was absolutely outstanding. At first minutes we had a pure degeneracy. So that was a time with no perpetuals, no withdrawals, no HFT, and in the first minutes of the trading, that's what happened. And that usually this price behavior resembles sort of a penny stocks, looking at seconds, not minutes, as this liquidity normally is very, very low. Thus, giving us pure digital price moves in the sake of greed, irrationality, and information asymmetry. Also, now we can mention those widespread illiquid order book and big market impacts, giving a beautiful move to $10. So after a couple of hours, the listing of spot and futures on Binance, the price stabilized in the possible consensus price around $1.1, $1.5, and the price of Arbitrum right now is at the optimism FDV that gives it around $1. So if the market cap may equal to the optimism model, another second layer solution on Arbitrum, on Ethereum, it would cost $1. So that might be one of the price that also justify the recent price action. So you know that that's around the still price discovery phase. It's just the elements we need to be very, very attentive for, and within next 2 weeks of token debut, I don't really recommend anyone to trade it, as that may bear many of problems for the speculators. So what about ZK layers? ZK layers, as might it be next? It still is unknown, and the time will tell. What about the market movers section? So in terms of market movers, let's find out for this. So what we have right here for this week, the most important events are GfK, Consumer Conference from Germany, for those that are trading on German DAX. We have some ECBs on Monday. Sorry, I have scattered this one. ECB's speeches on Monday. On Wednesday, we also have pending home sales from US. Alone, we have inflation rate from Germany on Thursday, and right after we have PCEs in US. So that's very interesting. However, inflation rate is over optimistic in my view, forecasted for Europe, as we have a forecasted 0.8 point lower than we have been located on legally. So for this to happen, it would need a very strong market to tackle that potential drop resulted by potentially lower gauges, lower optimism on gauges of inflation rate from Germany. So for this week, I would say that inflation rate from Germany, and alongside this personal income, core PCE price index from US might be all of them might be the most important events that may be volatility sparkers, I would say. And not mentioning PMIs from China on Thursday. In terms of earnings calendar, what we have is this BioNTech, but on Friday we have Biopharma and CIG. So those mainly healthcare companies. But in terms of Monday, we have Carnival Corporations yet to publish, and on Tuesday we have Micron Technology that may have an affection for the technology market in the US 100, with market cap of 62 billion. That will be a very important indeed. All right, so let's head on to the trade idea section. So what we have out here is in my view, the very important one, I will just find out the US 100. So US 100 is the one that right now is dealing with a potential higher highs, higher lows levels, and tendency is still the one that is growing. Sorry, I haven't switched the tabs, but you may see this right now. So we have higher highs, but higher lows. As we don't know, it has been confirmed on lower intervals, but in my view, that still it takes us too long to get out of this consolidation upwards, and with this sandwich, this reversal sandwich, followed by green, red, and green candles, also coincided with those higher wicks, very long wicks. It usually gives us rather an opportunity to sell rather than buy US 100, and I would stick to this theory unless any significant happen. So right now US 100 is the one that may drop lower, and with the market open, this tendency may just spark down. So if you ask me, even though we have formed a high highs, high lows right by now, we can find that this trajectory is this I would say momentum is curtailing and giving us the chance that may favor a bear side of a trend. So US 100 is the one that may possibly break the market structure. If it breaks the market structure and will make the new lows, it would mean for us that it's just another reason to put a bet against US 100 and rather the one that may favor its growth. For this one to negate, we would need to overtake that recent highs at 12.84. Without this, I wouldn't consider this to go higher. All right. So, what does it mean for me? Just wait for the breaking market structure. If that happens, the possible return to this area will be the one to start short. With a target of at least 12.56, but even up to 12.42. For the first target, the 12.54 is the one to possibly play out. So if you just wondering how I would see this type of market reaction, sorry, I need to just I would see something like this with a little break of market structure, and right after possible reversal with the target of 12.54 with an extension of even up to 12.4. And that's the outlook I'm currently looking for. And you may just let me know in the comments below down what you think about it, and if you are right now in the chat going live, you may also just assess your point of view. So that's my few cents on today's current market structure. If you have enjoyed, just hit the like button. It will be very appreciated in order to just spread over this type of content. And I'm very glad you decided to turn on. Thank you very much for today, and see you tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. East time. East time, as it's a changing time, so don't forget about